Don't have to say a word.
You still have to play your character. All right.
Does talk.
Before I start the stream today, I'm going to remind the viewing audience that right now they could back a new Numenera Kickstarter, which has hit 3 of its stretch goals so far. So it keeps getting to be a better and better deal, and you should check it out.
It is a
Yeah.
almost a sure thing when you back a Numenera Kickstarter that you will get tons of sweet stretch goal loot.
Yeah. Well, even still, sometimes it does look like it's a lot of money for some of the stuff, but some of the all the PDFs or all the physical books, if you get them on the Kickstarter, it would be cheaper than if you end up usually buying all the books after the fact.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
and then there's also a lot of add-ons that you wouldn't really be able to get after the Kickstarter sometimes.
Let's see. And my one other announcement, it doesn't look like anyone's here, but don't leave when we take our first break. We'll still be here, I promise.
Maybe we should remember to say that.
Before we take the break.
Yeah. I will. Because last time people were like, bye, and I was like, no, stay.
Don't leave.
All right.
I'm doing that fun thing again where I can't find my character sheet.
That's the best game ever.
Yeah. Remember last time it had been deleted, and I don't know how. So let's hope that didn't happen again.
I do remember that in the early days of TRF, sometimes the only way I was able to find my character sheet was to go to my email where I'd sent it to people and download it again.
Yeah.
Telling me I should share this right now? I found her.
Also, I am pretty sure that more than one cast member went to the website and downloaded the example character sheets that we'd created for our characters.
Nice.
All right. Gonna start now. For real this time. Hello, and welcome to the Amber Clave, a Numenera Actual Play Podcast. I'm your host / GM, Megan, and with me today I have Acer.
Hello, this is Acer. I play Rigel Sloan, a graceful, stealthy glaive who fights with a horde.
Landon.
Hey, and I play Garrett, who is a tough, meddlesome delve who explores yesterday.
And Shauna.
Hi, I play Raphael Estelle, who is an imaginative, nurturing nano who murders.
Last time, I should have reviewed what you did. You built the town, though. You built the City of Hope. There was a long discussion of whether or not you should have barracks or huts. We went with the barracks.
And huts.
And huts for the families. We have a watchtower, a jail. So we're pretty set. And then you had to deal with some conflicts within the community, and you did some exploring of the volcano you now live on. And you found that it emits one helpful resource, which I did not write down. I wrote down everything else. I wrote down what was in the Welcome to Hope kit, but I didn't write down what I decided you'd find. Oh, thrum dust.
I was about to say,
Thrum dust.
It was something dust.
Thrum dust. I did write it down.
I remember it was useful / dangerous.
Yes, you can throw it at people and have it explode.
And if you use it properly / carefully, I believe it made crafting times shorter.
Yes.
Sweet.
All right. So, what is your average day in Hope looking like right now?
Well, I am definitely making sure that every facility has like all the signage they need. You know, it's really frustrating when you can't tell when things are because they're not properly labeled.
That is true.
So that's what I'm working on.
Let's see. I think Garrett would be probably helping, seeing if we can put out some stuff to maybe harvest and collect some of the dust, the thumb dust, as well as seeing if there's any other pockets of the island that have yet to be kind of explored. Seeing if maybe he can discover some other resources and such like that.
And what's Garrett doing?
That was Garrett.
Oh, I moved you guys to the wrong spot. 1 minute while I move Easter and Landon to the right place because
Otherwise, Megan doesn't know who's who.
otherwise I apparently cannot remember people's names.
It's all right.
So, Rigel.
Wait, I have to say the question again so it sounds like I'm smart when we actually release the podcast.
Oh yeah, someone commented on that online. I saw. Well, not that specifically. So nice work.
The magic of editing.
Totally natural.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely make us sound like we know what we're doing more than we do some of the times. So what's Rigel spending his days doing?
So, Rigel has a couple of things on his to-do list in his bullet journal.
Yes.
There is the daily militia drill, which I'm sure most people try to get out of attending.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Definitely. Well, you know what you're doing. It's those people who which end of the spear to hold that really need to show up.
Right. That's fair.
So part of his day also then involves doing like the safety checks of all of the barracks and huts, which is partly to make sure that we don't have any more fires, but is also about keeping tabs on the people who would otherwise conveniently miss training. Then there's also a significant amount of time spent on top of the watchtower because he's probably dodging some sort of other obligation, performing the vital service of looking at the horizon. And then I guess he occasionally shows up to the town meetings just to look intimidating and remind those people who somehow think that they don't need to let other people into the community. Just to remind them that they are here on someone else's sufferance.
The new guys.
We're the new guys in charge. So
Yeah.
All right. So, Rigel, as you are looking off to the horizon, I suppose probably thinking of the bars you left behind, you do see what looks almost like a storm cloud on the horizon, but you see it seems to be moving too fast, and you slowly begin to realize it's not a storm cloud. It is a flock of birds.
I will turn to the person in the watchtower next to me and say, "You ever seen a flock of birds that big before?"
No.
Is there some kind of like bell that we can? Well, actually, wait. Is it heading toward us?
Yes.
It's coming really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Are we talking like hundreds of birds, thousands of birds?
Hundreds.
How big are they?
They are. They have about a 20-foot wingspan.
Okay, those aren't birds.
They are birds. They're seabirds.
No!
It says seabird right there.
Giant seabird, it should say.
If Megan ever asks you to go to the beach, say no.
Yeah, anytime Megan's like, "Hey, you should look at this," I usually think twice, and usually like, why don't you just describe it to me? So I assume that we have like a simplified code of like what does it mean when someone keeps ringing the bell twice? And
I want you to tell me the code right now.
okay, is one bell every couple of seconds means everybody should gather. Two bells twice means, or two bells twice, two bells in quick succession followed by a pause, and then two bells again means shelter in place. This is definitely sounding like one of those shelter in place situations.
Okay. Is there a 3-bell situation?
Yes, 3 bells is grab a weapon and clutch it to you as though your life depended on it, which maybe this is a 3-bell situation. I'm amending it. We're going with the 3-bell situation.
Is there an evacuation one?
That's the bell just keeps ringing.
Okay.
Nonstop. That's usually reserved for the volcano is about to erupt or there's a tsunami coming. It's one of those poke your head out the door and look first toward the volcano and then out to sea.
I was going to say, those have very different directions in which you would want to evacuate.
It's a discretionary thing. You know, we trust that our residents are grown-ups, at least to this extent. So they'll have to use their own discretion. There's only one bell. So this is a 3-bell situation.
Okay.
Grab your weapons.
So
I gotta
people-
finish writing down what all of these bells clearly mean, so I have this forever.
So people are grabbing their spear or quarterstaff, or maybe their bow and arrow, all those things that come in the Hope Welcome Kit. And looking up at this rapidly heading towards you cloud. So we're going to try horde rules again. This flock of Carestrels is a level 3 horde, or rank 3 horde.
What rank is our community?
1.
I'm going to switch to the runaway bell, because we will quickly be obliterated. They have 9 health and we have 3.
But you have 3 infrastructure.
Okay.
And there are potential actions you guys can take to assist in this fight. This is we're seeing if we can determine how horde rules work in trial by fire.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Sounds promising.
All right. So I add damage to my roll, or to my to the community when I'm acting in its defense. What does everybody else do?
It's a good thing to ask because I definitely know. Because Megan showed me. When I am present within a community and actively and personally working on behalf of that community, the community's health and infrastructure are both increased by 1.
Okay, we might be able to survive this.
See, you're already doing better.
All right. So what my community skill is, while I am present within a community and actively or personally working on behalf of the community's effective rank for purposes of finding resources, locating new trade routes, knowing about conditions just beyond the community, and detecting sneak attacks by enemies is +1.
I'm sorry, but that's a little less helpful right now.
They're not very sneaky, huh?
Yeah.
It's I can see that coming in really handy a
Mhm.
lot, but not right now.
What, you mean blotting out the sun isn't sneaky?
Although I do believe you can take a different community action to help else, and then Megan gets to decide what bonus you give us.
So it mostly you take an action and you can spend levels of effort to improve it.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
there's no role involved. It's just you spend effort.
Okay. Well, cool. Let's hope I increased my right edge.
But I'm going to stick with my. I'm going to coordinate the defenses, and give some last-minute archery advice to everyone with a bow, so that they'll do more damage.
Yeah, I guess I'm not on the watchtower. I'm down in the town, painting signs and adding things to our buildings. So I'm gonna try to arrange people in a good defensive way. I'm gonna have them like hide behind the few buildings that we have so that they can make attacks without being attacked.
Oh, I think if
Maybe.
your thing increases like health and infrastructure, you're probably like coordinating the people who have like healing skills and like the bucket brigade and things like that too.
Okay, yeah. And that. I go and I look for the people who would be good at aiding others.
Because we know that we have successfully organized a bucket brigade before.
I'm like, quick, get the bandages in a bucket. And they don't know it.
Is this a bucket? No.
Close enough.
Where did you get a salad bowl? We've been looking for that.
I didn't think we had enough units to get those.
We don't have like a complete set. We just have a couple.
You just have one of the scooper halves. You don't have the like matching bit.
It's like college students that take dishes from restaurants and you have just like a random assortment.
Yeah.
Not that I know anything about that. Why?
All right. So you see the flock of Kestrels getting closer and closer. So they have a 20-foot wingspan. Some of them seem to be diving in and out of the water. They have vicious beaks, slashing talons, and you see some of them have clearly quite recently feasted on something. There's red blood all over their beaks and face as they've feasted, and they're just hungry for more.
How?
They're just hungry, hungry birds. And they descend on the island like a angry cloud.
I turn to the person in the tower next to me and go, maybe we should have.
I didn't hear the end of that.
Maybe we should have moved.
Yes. You smell the sea and rotten flesh and blood on them as they fall down upon the community. So first round, they are dealing 3 points of damage to the community. 1 to your health and 2 to your infrastructure.
All right, so that means our health is down to 9 and our infrastructure is down to 8.
They both start at 10.
No, they both start at 3.
I thought you multiply them by your target number.
I thought that you have your target number of 3, and then you subtract the damage that you take out of it. Because your rank is 1.
Oh wait, yeah. That's right. Theirs
Okay.
though, is
Yes.
9.
Yes. They have a health of 9.
Okay, so our infrastructure is down to, or our health is down to 3. Our infrastructure is down to 2.
Yes. Because of Rafaela's hard work.
Just really uplifting the whole community.
You know what else is being uplifted? Those people that are being dragged into the air.
And then dropped.
The real Jurassic World situation.
I dropped one person right into the beak of a random sea creature that appeared underneath. All right. And then your community is fighting back. What does this look like? So the community has somewhat primitive of weapons, but can you describe what it's looking like?
So there, as they dive on the community, the archers let fly into their maws, and then dive for cover. And then as they climb up and expose their bellies, the spear throwers loft their projectiles with as much strength as they can manage. And we do pretty well. We inflict 2 points of damage.
So some of these birds are falling from the air. Some of them are the ones that were holding on to community members.
Yay.
So that they're not dropping them into the sea to feed them to people.
All right.
Was there something that Garrett was doing in particular to try to assist with damage or health or infrastructure, Landon?
I am trying to think.
Could you be making projectile or making using the dust to on arrowheads or on spearheads or something like that?
That's a good idea. Although I can spend effort, from what I understand, to maybe me and let's see, I wrote the NPC name. The other kind of 2 scavengers in the town, Rosa and Orla.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can maybe one of them is while they are a scavenger, they actually can do some crafting. Because I'm unable to really do that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I can work with them to maybe affix some arrows with some of the explosive dust so that it's kind of safe for shooting, but volatile enough if it hits a bird, it, will explode.
All right.
So yeah, would that be intellect for the effort?
It's just spending effort.
Okay. Then I will spend effort for that.
All right. I'm going to give you adding to damage inflicted costs 2 levels of effort, which you guys can't quite do yet. So I will add another point to your infrastructure. So you're at 3 infrastructure and 3 health right now.
All right. This isn't looking quite as grim.
Why did you say that?
Except for Phil over there. He's looking he's not looking great. Make sure the children don't look that way.
Rafaela snaps her fingers. And speaking of children, there's like a scouts group that she's been organizing, and they're working on their first aid badge right now. And they run out to help the people that have been injured with the bandages that we just organized.
Wow, they level up that badge from nothing to bronze to silver to gold.
Look, it's tough out here. There's nothing like hands-on experience.
All right. I don't suppose they've decided they've had their fill, have they?
No, I think
Oh no, I shouldn't have chosen that particular name.
I think both Rafaela and Rigel can also spend effort in addition to their abilities.
Okay, so I will be directing the archers in the time-honored tradition of hugging the dirt when it is not wise to be poking your head up. So I can I do I have enough effort to increase the community's health by 1?
Yes.
All right.
What about Rafaela?
Well, so that puts our health back up to 4. How do you improve your how can I repair the infrastructure?
Yeah, you can do something like trying to drive the Caristrills away from certain parts of town or
Okay,
something
yeah,
like that.
Oh, how about a fire? You can set a fire.
that sounds damaging and counterintuitive.
Well, not you don't set a building on fire, but you set
I really want to spruce this town up a bit. Where's the torch? I'm assuming that we have some like stacks of lumber around that we traded for last time as we're building.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to like stack them up to funnel all of the birds into one direction so that it's easier to hit them with arrows. That's how that works, right?
Yeah. All
They
right.
think it could be like a decoy building. Then they think there's probably juicy people in there.
Yeah. Next time.
Yeah.
Next time I'll have a good fish decoy.
All right. So the Caristrels are going to continue their assault. They seem to be attempting to rip the roofs off of some of the barracks, looking for the nice chewy center inside, and generally wreaking havoc. So they are going to deal 2 points to health this time and 1 point to infrastructure. And what is your defense looking like this time around?
This time we're going to hurriedly move all the people, all the archers around, so that they can take advantage of Rafaela's murder funnel. And as the birds come in, they present a perfect target so that we can fire multiple arrows at them as they come closer, and then everyone has to dive out of the way again. As that's how I'm going to use my effort this time, is teaching them how to dive to one side and do that silly combat roll thing.
Is it a barrel roll?
No, it's you like somersault off to one side.
I just want to make a joke about barrel rolls because you said they're bad.
Yes, we have not no one has played Star Fox. And so extra point of damage, and restore infrastructure by 1, or no, health by 1. I guess it would be.
All right. So they take their damage. You guys describe to me what you're doing this round for repairing infrastructure and health as we're going.
Okay, I am going to try to so last round we funneled the birds into one direction, and now I want to try to trap them using the same building supplies so that they can't get out. They're fish in a barrel next
All
round.
right.
Am I spending?
You're just spending effort.
Okay. Does it matter out of which pool?
No.
Okay.
As long as it makes logical sense.
Okay.
They're not like spending might to outthink someone.
Okay. Well, I'm not outthinking anyone right now. Okay.
I think we got their health down to 5.
Alrighty.
All right. They come down for another sweep. Grabbing some more of... Or actually, they're going to go for the watchtower this time. There seems to be some people shooting them from there.
Megan, did Garrett get to do something?
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. It took me a while to think of something, and I think I have an idea of something I want to do. I'm just not sure. I think it falls more into the realm of maybe a trick, so that hopefully we don't receive as much damage from an attack, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a cipher called the Travel Bubble.
Okay.
Basically, what it does is it creates a sphere, a spherical force field that lasts up to 10 hours until the user, which would be me, collapses it. It hovers for all times and moves as I wish, vertically, horizontally, up to a short distance each round. If the sphere is destroyed or collapsed, whatever it contains falls to the ground. Kind of going off the idea of fish bait kind of scenario. The description, it doesn't really say that I have to be within the sphere or if I can activate it and control it outside, if that makes sense. But I want to see if I can use the sphere to basically create have it catch water from like the bay and hopefully get some of the fish and whatnot in it, and then rise it above the water, so it's like a floating sphere of water with like the fish and anything else swimming in it, so that it might look more enticing, plus maybe a bit shiny, and some birds like shiny things.
That is true.
So that maybe the birds will then fly towards it, and maybe we can try to take out some more birds while they attack that thing instead of our village.
Good.
So, and I can spend effort to do that if you want. Like I said, I'm not sure how to really go about it. So,
All right. Give me a roll for that. For the distracting part.
all right. See if there's any. No, there's not really any kind of skill I can put into this. So, all right, just the effort. All right, that is a 12.
All right. So yes, it does look like you are distracting some of them. So they're going to do less damage this round.
Yes.
Sweet. It's something.
Nice work.
They're going to just do 1 point of damage to the infrastructure.
Right, so what are we at currently?
I have you at 2 points of health and 2 points of infrastructure.
Okay, good. That's what I was thinking too.
They're down to 5, right?
Well, and then you do your attack, which is going to bring them down to 3. What does your attack look like?
Well, as they swoop past the fish sphere, everyone will just take shots at them as they come out the other side.
I think they're mostly running into it and falling, like birds that don't realize windows are there.
Oh, okay. In that case, they are clubbed with quarterstaffs as they ground. as all the people with staffs now get a chance to participate.
Finally.
Yes, they've been waiting.
All right. So how are you directing people this time?
This time I am carefully timing the rushes forward of the bludgeoners, and then ordering them back before the birds can wheel around, so that I can boost the health by 1.
I just realized I did a classic Shauna move and completely forgot about your community's armor.
That's not a classic shot.
That's a classic everyone in this party move, maybe.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
Shauna's usually the one who remembers she's forgotten armor then.
When I'm like, oh man, I'm almost dead. I thought I was tougher than this.
I'm the one that was almost murdered, and I was like, oh wait, I'm wearing 4-point armor.
Okay, a classic Shauna Easter and Landon move.
Yeah.
I mean, I will have to say, most of my characters usually never wore armor, other than like Mako because of the ice ability stuff.
I'm gonna miss that.
I miss riding the lightning. Still.
All right, I'm going to give you some points back.
Yay.
Woohoo!
Hey,
And so what are you doing to protect your community now? As they're like falling, some of them, and they're distracted by this big ball of water and fish.
Well, that was my thing, the timing.
All right.
Okay. I have an ability where my allies can gain a +1 on recovery rolls. So I'm hoping that I can kind of channel that into infrastructure health, as I am, with my nurturing, calm voice, I'm telling people like, stay calm, steady, we're almost there. You've got this. Right on. Hang in there. Ooh, here's a Band-Aid.
We're going to eat so good tonight.
Oh my gosh, I hope you like birds. Really big birds.
I'm sure there's some good meat in there somewhere.
yeah.
A lot of meat.
Now I'm imagining your town getting attacked by Big Bird, a flock of big birds. Yellow feathers everywhere.
He's
All right,
just looking
people,
for
let him have it.
Sesame
All right, and what's Garrett doing?
Let's see. And this is tricky since I'm not really that great on my skills for helping attack and building stuff. It's kind of hard to help maintain infrastructure when
Yeah.
you have an inability on crafting.
It's definitely a good exercise for stretching your character's abilities.
Let's see. Let's see. What's our weakest thing at? Is it the infrastructure or the health?
It is the health.
The health? Okay. I want to think of something then to help boost health. Let's see. All right. I think may not be the best plan, but on some of the smaller huts and things that may have had some of the roofs pried off, or at least damaged, where these birds can kind of like poke their head in and snatch up inhabitants that might be kind of trying to hide. I think Garrett, Rosa, and Orla will try to run around and maybe grabbing some like kind of fishing nets that we might have, try to kind of toss them over the huts to make like very quick impromptu roof of sorts. Not that it's fully covered, but at least with the netting, it maybe their beaks will get tangled up in it where they can't really, pluck someone out of their hut, if that makes any sense.
All right.
Would that help boost health?
Yeah, because they're not grabbing people quite as frequently.
Yeah.
Just imagine them just like constantly just plucking
Yeah.
people from these
Yeah.
exposed locations.
All right, and I'll use effort for that too.
All right. New round. The birds are getting angry. Some of them are attacking whatever's available, including dead kestrels.
Oh.
They're not fighting back. They taste good, presumably. Taste like chicken. And so they're going to do 1 point of damage to each because I'm taking into account armor this time.
Hey, those are our birds, I will shout, and direct them to direct the defenders to attack the ones who are attacking the kestrels.
And all right, so you're shooting down the cannibals now.
Yes.
All right. They just have 1 point of health left, and I think you've done enough to drive them off.
Yes.
So they are going to fly away. Maybe they'll go bother that tree island. I don't think things will go quite as well for them there, but they can try.
Megan, if they're disengaging, we kill them.
Okay. Well, they're flying away, and you shoot them in the back.
Yeah. At least, unless they have an ability that prevents that. I think if you try to withdraw, the defenders get one more attack on you.
Okay. So they try it, and it doesn't succeed. You do unfortunately lose 11 people in this combat.
No.
Oh no.
That's not good. Hopefully it was the ones that were giving us grief last time. How are people doing overall? What's the vibe in the town?
A little shell-shocked.
Okay.
They weren't expecting that. Their new beautiful town has been ripped up by monster birds. But they are proud that they drove them back.
Yeah, you guys did so good. Rafaela immediately jumps in to offer affirmations.
Who wants to butcher some kestrels?
Yeah, and can we like take these feathers and make more arrows for our primitive bows?
Definitely.
Everyone's going to have a nice hat.
Yep.
And
Well,
maybe,
even
sorry.
well, even still, I think depending on how many of these birds there are, some of the bones would be pretty useful for making needles to potentially sew stuff to patch things up with, and could probably even make some pretty decent arrows themselves, maybe spears,
Jewelry, cutlery, but we all get bone cutlery.
It'd be pretty awesome if you're all armed with like these bird bone spears, like super light but super sharp.
Yeah.
They're
I'm really digging that.
giant birds.
Yes.
Yeah, and we could probably cure some of the meats that way, last longer, and some of the maybe less desirable cuts we might be able to use for like bait to catch other type of fish or shellfish and things like that.
Okay, who's taking lead on what part of recovery?
I'll do that. I mean, it's kind of like scavenging.
It definitely sounds like scavenging.
I mean, it's not really salvaging Numenera, but I mean, it's kind of like scavenging, like I said. So, perception might work for this since I don't think salvaging Numenera. So,
All right.
all right. 6.
You've never dissected a carestrol before, and so it's a little bit trickier than you thought it might be. But you're like getting the important parts, like the drumsticks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure depending on how many, maybe I'm improving with like each progressive one.
Yeah, the first couple just go all in the chum barrel.
Whoops.
It's like making pancakes. The first one's always a dud.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be on infrastructure repair.
Okay.
Just helping put stuff back together.
Okie dokie.
I got a 19.
Put it back together better than what it was originally.
Well, it's the same sort of first one you build's a bit of a dud thing, and now you're going back to that first dud building, and you're building it better with the experience you gained.
And these nets really help with stabilizing these timbers.
Okay, so Garrett was scavenging. So in my mind, he's like separating out the raw materials.
Mm-hmm.
So can I try to start creating things with the raw materials? Like, can I start like trying to organize a group to create new arrows and to start making like needles and things?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Wow. Okay, that's super great. I rolled a 1.
All right. Are you going to keep the one?
Do I have a way to not keep the 1? Do I have?
You have 3 XP, I think, right?
I have 1 XP currently.
Oh, what? You leveled up.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Let me look at my nano intrusions and see if any of them can do anything. Well, it's not a Numenera device. It's me. I'm the device. A glimmer provides you with a clear answer or suggests a course of action with regard to an urgent question, problem, or obstacle you're facing. I think that's the only one that would remotely apply. Can I spend an XP for a nano intrusion okay, so I'm assuming I take like the bone and I'm trying to figure out how to craft with it and it's just like splintering all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Can I spend an XP for an intrusion to overcome this hurdle and figure out how to better craft with it? Or maybe a different way to use it since, well, I'll let you decide if that's okay with you.
I probably still have you re-roll the dice for the new way.
Okay. All right.
But yeah.
Let me take my XP off. So now I'm at 0. Cool. And I rolled a 5, so
Better.
really improved a lot.
Well, at least you didn't like stab yourself with the bone shards.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Sorry, guys.
We're learning. We're learning.
So you don't you get a little distracted in making the arrows and the Oh man. From making the arrows and the needles and stuff, because you realize that bird bones are hollow and so are flutes. And so you're like, we can make instruments. So Andira stops by at the end of the day and she's like, how's it going? And you show her a collection of beautifully carved flutes.
I made bone flutes. This is so good for morale. Look, we have a marching band now.
And she's just like,
It's really good for people. Look, we need to express our sadness. People are grieving.
Those are really neat.
You can't have 11 funerals with no one to play a flute around.
I guess not. It's just, I really thought the arrows were going to be more useful.
These are great. This will come in really handy. Rigel will say, "Don't upset the murderous Nano."
Does he whisper that or?
Yes, I'm whispering that.
She says,
Garrett will pick one up and look at it and be like, well, I mean, I think these are great. And really, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, they're still kind of straight. I'm sure you could still, make like emergency arrows and they'd whistle as they flew.
If you think so.
That's so intimidating.
Well, maybe just tomorrow we can work on the needles and the arrows then, since we have the nice flutes.
Okay, I promise you I will give it a try, but look, I can't help what the dice tell me to do. We could make dice.
Yeah.
From the knuckle bones.
I invent Yahtzee.
All right, so things are going along. The town's getting repaired. Eventually, you get needles and arrows and blow darts, blow guns, more flutes. What does the funereal tradition look like in Hope?
Oh, jeez.
Raft, oil, fire.
All right, so you're sending them all to sea?
Yep.
Are they each getting their own boat, or is it going to be like a bulk funeral thing since you guys are low on wood?
Well, we'll use that the wood that we can't that can't be reclaimed for construction, I guess. I guess if you did something great, you get your own.
Phil gets his own.
He was running into burning buildings and stuff. It was impressive.
Oh no, that's terribly ironic. In the end, the fire got him anyway. But
I'm sure between wood that we weren't going to be able to use to craft huts and stuff, and maybe even since the bird bones are kind of light, some of them that may not necessarily be able to get crafted into anything might be able to kind of act like a pontoon of sorts and can help create like a bigger raft funeral barge thing.
Okay.
Yep. We tow it out to sea and laid it up.
So
Because we can't really bury them.
Yeah.
And throwing them into the volcano seems a bit especially
Cool.
since we'd see them.
Yeah.
They'd burn up.
Yeah, we'd see that. That just seems like not the greatest.
It'd be more metal, though.
That's the guiding principle. How metal can we make this?
Yeah.
So you're not able to fully fix all the buildings here. There's still Like, you didn't have the supplies since you spent all of your units of supplies. But you're able, there's not quite as many people that you need housed in the barracks. You're able to rearrange people.
Okay.
All right. I know you didn't like Phil, but you're going to have to sleep in his bunk.
You sure that's not bad luck?
Probably is.
How about
I
you sleep in his bunk?
I'm telling this to that guy that was in charge of that faction that was like, we shouldn't let you people come here.
You sleep in his bunk and I'll sleep on the floor. I'm fine with the floor.
Fine with me.
The day after the funeral, you start seeing shapes on the water.
Ah, crap. Time to ring the bell again.
How many times are you going to ring the bell?
Let's go with once.
During the funeral, I'm gonna do a recovery roll for my intellect.
Oh, you guys can go full in all your pools. You have enough time.
Okay.
Because this is going over a period of a little bit.
All right.
There's plenty of time to get drunk.
Since we're running low on some wood and other stuff, it might be worthwhile to harvest some of this dust and maybe see if we can use it to trade with the automatons for maybe some more supplies.
Yeah. I'm all for visiting those people again. Rigel, entirely unconvincingly.
just a thought.
Yeah, it's a good thought. It's just, not how I wanted to spend today. Hey, look! Stuff on the horizon.
Maybe they're coming to us.
Is it more birds?
No, it looks like they're little boats.
Okay, so are they more of the hovering contact lenses?
No, they seem to be not even quite boats. You're realizing as they get closer, maybe like rafts, and they're coming out from like the deep sea, not from other cays.
All right. I suppose we will
Be on our guard.
Be on our guard. Do we have like signaling mirrors?
Sure.
Should the three of us maybe head out front? Do we build walls? Was that a thing we did? No.
I don't believe so.
No, we didn't have
walls.
the money for walls.
No, not yet. I think it should be a priority.
As certain people have discovered, walls are expensive. Oh. Oof. I'm regretting that joke already.
Don't regret it. But maybe we should go out front
Wait,
down to the water.
We've got a boat. Maybe we should meet them.
Yeah.
But okay.
I will tell what's my Crix?
Yeah.
Look, Crix, if you see us turn around and then immediately start paddling really, really fast, maybe you want to get the people, the archers, into position to do something about the people chasing us.
Then you ring the bell a lot.
Yeah, then ring the bell a lot. Okay?
You want us to put you out of your misery or something?
No, I was thinking more about covering fire.
Right. He gives you a knowing nod.
Everyone on this island has such a bad attitude.
Yeah. It's probably because metal hasn't been invented yet.
We didn't open a tavern either.
No, I'm regretting that.
Yeah, we need walls in a tavern. Real bad.
All of our maudlin drinking had to take place outside.
It was more rustic that way.
One of the signs that I've created is like one of those thermometer fundraising goals. Units scavenged.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe soon we'll have more units from all these boats that are coming in.
Yeah, we'll just take these boats and break them. All right, so we go out and meet them?
Yeah, we had an actual raft. We had rafts, and did we have a boat? Boat?
You had those the bubble boats.
Yeah, we had a couple of the contact lens things.
And then we had some rafts. All right, I guess let's take those contact lens things.
Looks so weird. We need a better boat for us. I add it to the list.
Are we within? Are we within mesh range of the Lost City?
Yes.
I would like to call them and ask. You know, we're out here. I guess really, this should have come through our orate, but would it kill you people to send us a boat?
I guess not.
I would like to requisition a boat, please.
Did you fill out the forms?
I have now.
Did you get them stamped?
They're virtual forms. How am I supposed to get a stamp on a virtual form?
Virtually, I suppose.
Fine, there's a virtual stamp.
Is it just you flipping them the bird?
Yes, a stamp form.
All right. They will get on sending you a boat.
There might be something going on here. There are a lot of boats coming our way. I mean, are the Adequate and was it the Challenger available? Chance?
Actually, they're not at the moment.
Fine. Well, we could probably use some shipping. There's going to be some sort of humanitarian disaster inbound. I'm pretty sure.
Well, we will send some help.
We appreciate it. I'm sure Deer is going to yell at me a lot now.
Yeah, you're undermining her authority.
We do all the work.
She is comforting people right now.
Making Rafaela feel bad about her flutes.
They're nice flutes.
They're really good flutes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you go out on your bubble boats. You see that these rafts seem to be packed full of people. Like, if they added one more person to the rafts, they probably would sink.
Ahoy there.
Oh, thank God. Are you from the island?
Yes?
All right. We need your help.
Oh, great. What's wrong?
I'm gonna end it there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we're so... Actually, I think that's my response. Oh, we're so screwed.
If you're with us in chat, we are going to take a short break after we do the podcast outro, but we will be back for the second half. So don't leave us. And then for the podcast, that I'm going to give you each 2 XP for successfully defending Hope.
All right, I can level up.
Woo!
And thank you so much for joining us on the Amber Clave. I'm Megan. I've been your GM. You can find me on Twitter at Kyrium247 or tweeting for the podcast at Amber Clave. With me today, we've had Acer.
Hello, I've been playing Rigel Sloan, the graceful, stealthy glaive who fights with a horde. You can find me on Twitter at Acer_Tolentino.
Shauna.
I was playing Raphael Estelle, an imaginative, nurturing nano who murders. And you can find me on Twitter at CallMeShauna.
And Landon.
Hey, and I've been playing Garrett, who's a tough, meddlesome delve who explores yesterday. You can find me on Twitter at solemn_Lyrian.
Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you again next time. Until then, yay to see.
Yay to see.
Yay to see.
All right, everyone, we'll be back in a moment.
Yay!
Woohoo!
We're
I'm
not back.
unmuting myself. We're back.
Yay!
Hi.
Yeah. Not going to mess that up this time, our third time doing this. Finally. All right. Hello and welcome to the Amber Clave, a Numenera Actual Play Podcast. I'm your GM slash host. Yes, that's right. Your GM slash host, Megan. With me today are Shauna.
Hello. I am playing Raphael Stell, who is an imaginative, nurturing nano who murders.
Landon.
And I am playing Garrett, who is a tough, meddlesome delve who explores yesterday.
And Acer.
I'm playing Rigel Sloan, a graceful, stealthy glaive who fights with a horde.
All right. Last time, your town was under attack by a huge swarm of Kestrels who ripped up the town, killed 11 of your townspeople, and then mostly died on your beach and have now turned into chicken soup and jerky and chum. A lot of chum.
And flutes.
And flutes. There's so many things. These birds are so versatile.
Oh, and I think at some point we were going to try to make needles or arrows or something, but flutes.
Yep.
I keep getting distracted and making flutes.
And then, as the day after you had your funerals, you saw some ships moving on the horizon. You contacted the Lost City and said, hey, it'd be really great if you actually made it so we could do things since we're on an island by having a boat. They said they'd send you one, and you went out to investigate, and the people crammed onto these rafts said they needed help.
What kind of help?
Our home is sinking.
You live on a ship?
Well, no, not quite. We were attacked by these huge birds. We live on a martling whale, and they killed the whale.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Well, the birds like that, and I point over to the beach.
Yes, just like that.
Well, how many of you are there? Is this everyone?
No, there's still some people who are trying to build some more rafts to get our stuff off the whale before it sinks.
All right. I will send a message to the Lost City that's like, can we hurry that boat along?
Is there someone on their raft that knows approximately where their city is at? Like, how to get back? Or is it like drifting in an area?
It was sort of drifting when they left. But they can point you in the general direction.
All right. What we should do is coordinate everyone getting off of these rafts, and then hook up as many as we can pull with the bubble boats and go back that way.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, too, it might be worthwhile to get in
Or
contact.
our rafts, sorry, are our rafts, better constructed than their rafts?
Yes, but it probably wouldn't hurt to try to get a bunch of resources off this whale's back.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, no, I mean, like, should we wait for them to offload their rafts, or should we just bring ours?
Probably the more rafts, the better.
Okay. So, I get. Sorry, Landon. Go ahead.
I was thinking it might be worthwhile to see if the Lost City could also send a boat approximately to this direction of the well to aid in kind of helping evacuate this city, depending on how many people there are.
Yeah, I guess I've just been harassing the clade on at the Lost City, not just the Lost City itself. Maybe I will ask Indira
Yeah.
if she would be so kind as to reach out to the Lost City and see if they can offer assistance?
Of course, that is part of my purpose here. But I'm not sure how many boats they actually have since they all live underwater.
Their city extends to the surface?
No, it's all undersea.
I thought when we first ran into the Lost City, there was a projection above the water.
The protective bubble went over the water.
Ah, okay.
But the city's all underwater.
Okay, that makes sense.
But the Lost City can reach out to the Red Fleet easier than you can at the moment. So,
All right, let's help people stuck on the back of a whale. Navigation roll?
Well,
I think we gotta string together our bubble boats and our other supply rafts that we had, and along with probably the raft that they came over in, while we kind of offload them. That way we can hold more people. Although we might need at least one or two people from their group to come back with us while we get other people and supplies.
Yeah, just because we're riding these bubble boats doesn't mean we're pirates.
Mm-hmm.
Say these people we brought along and are totally here of their own free will. Do you want crafting rolls, Megan?
yeah, crafting would be good.
All right. Hey, I rolled a 19 again.
All right. So you get things done well and quickly.
It's mostly cricks.
So people will be at the shore. Andira has gathered them up to help offload these people and find them somewhere to stay as you work on hooking all the boats back up together and set out on your rescue mission. Just imagine that you are on a jet ski instead of a raft or a bubble boat, sailing heroically, Baywatch style, into the deep sea.
It's just like that.
How many people were on the rafts?
30.
Okay. Did they tell us how many people were left on the whale?
About another 30.
Okay.
This is a small community.
Well, it is on the back of a whale, so.
Oh, that's fair.
So that we brought the rafts that carried all of them, and we had I think we had 4 rafts.
I think that's right. I think we had.
Yeah, about that. I think you built 2 additional rafts, but you had a couple still.
And then we have supplies. So I think we'll be able to take care of this on our own. If the Red Fleet or the Lost City can help, then that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so someone give me a navigation roll.
Woohoo! I will try to do that since I am trained.
Do
All
it.
right.
All right. That's going to be a 12, and I'm trained.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just looking through to make sure there wasn't anything else that might go into that. So
you've brought one member of the Marteling Whale crew back with you. Her name is Yolandes. And she is helping you try to figure out exactly where they were. And so her directions are pretty good. But as you start getting into the area she describes, you start to smell the whale. It has been floating on top of the sea for at least a day or two, and it is starting to become quite pungent.
Well, we are definitely in the right vicinity.
Yeah.
Great.
So as you get close to it, you see it on the horizon. There appears to be some other, not kestrels, but other seabirds feasting on it. It clearly was damaged quite heavily by the kestrels, though. And there seems to be some sea creatures underneath the water as well. So I am going to need a might defense roll as you get close to the bloated, rotting body of this whale.
Seven.
At an 8.
A 9.
All right. So you are all hindered right now. So everything you roll, you're going to have an inability in. As it's a lot of smell.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we didn't have time to craft bird bow nose clips.
Nope.
Bird bone, the most versatile.
Yep.
Let's steer alongside and shout up,
Mm-hmm.
between retching. Oh no, I opened my mouth too much.
Yolandes will very skillfully climb one of the ropes that's hanging off the side, and she is shouting for her husband, Tessin. And you see other people trying to put rafts together who are watching you with a little bit of suspicion, but mostly they're looking at you sort of hopefully, like, oh, thank God someone came to rescue us.
All right. You probably want to leave soonish, as your home seems to be. They're consuming it right from under you. So, and those things down there look hungry.
All right. So they want to take as much of their belongings with them as possible. This community was built out of wood, so it's like a giant wooden town that was built on the back of the whale. It looks like they used a lot of rope to hold it onto the whale, to try to steer the whale, maybe a little. It's clear that they probably couldn't do a lot of that, but there's a lot of wood and rope here.
What prevented the whale from just going down?
They don't usually go down undersea the marteling whale unless it's mating season. Most communities that try to build homes on the back of them try drugging them or otherwise incentivizing them to stay above sea. They don't always succeed.
Yeah, they're kind of more. I imagine it being more kind of like a filter feeder, so it tends to stay more at the surface than diving down, hunting like fish or giant squid type stuff.
Yeah, it sort of swims around, according to the book, with its mouth open, and then every once in a while it will inhale really deeply, like a vacuum, and suck the birds into its mouth. Because it sort of has its mouth open for them to rest on. And so then it sucks all the birds in, eats them, and then goes back to luring them to its mouth again.
Huh. Interesting.
All right. So I guess we're helping people scavenge, what's left of their lives.
Yeah.
All right.
Depending on how. See, I don't know whether to classify this as salvaging Numenera or not. If most of the town is wood and rope, Garrett kind of has the thing. If as long as we get the people in our barges, we might be able to just kind of untie the city from the back of the whale, and then wood floats. We might be able to just drag the rest of the city back potentially with us, and then we're gonna have quite a bit of wood, and it's almost like a prefabricated city or township.
Hey, it's a second town.
Exactly.
Is there like a mayor or something?
Tessin, Yolandi's husband, seems to be in charge.
All right, let's propose this idea to him.
Yeah, I will go up to Tess and be like, if we get your people and some of the important belongings, into our rafts and stuff, it might be feasible given the construction of the city. We could just untie it off the back of the well and float it back to the island where, we are kind of establishing ourselves, and it's some extra resources that we might, be able to use, and it may not be a total loss of everything.
Wait, how far are we from the island?
Let me think of a good timeline. About 6 hours or so.
How much thrust do the bubble boats put out?
Not a ton.
So we couldn't just tow the whole whale.
You could probably get something from the Lost City that could tow the whale. It just depends on how close you want to move a dead whale to your home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also kind of like, chumming the water. There's no telling what bigger thing might be in the water that we attract with that type of bait.
Well, my idea though was that the closer or the less, the shorter the distance that we have to tow the city.
I get what you're saying.
The less bad things happen to it, or the fewer bad things can happen to it. Hopefully.
True.
But that is a good point, especially since leviathans and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
How does he take this sales pitch?
Well, it is a very fine city. My family is the one that founded Visay, and we would hate to see it sink to the bottom of the sea. I'm just not sure if it will float as well as you think it will, but you look like you're fairly intelligent, so hopefully it will.
Oh no, these people are going to be a problem. At least that guy is.
Set over the mesh implant.
Yeah.
Well, Garrett, I'll try to run around the city as best as I can to try to see how it's kind of connected, and if it's possible to potentially still save the whole town, or even just maybe a section of it or so to possibly float it back, so we at least have the lumber and the ropes.
The whale has sort of tilted a little bit to its side, so some of the city is now submerged.
Okay.
But you think you should, with a little luck and some good engineering, you should be able to tow it all back.
Okay.
It might not all be in one piece when you get there, but
it's at least resources and something better than nothing.
Waste not, want not.
Yeah. So, all right. I'll do effort on this salvaging roll too. All right.
Is Indira reported to us?
I got a nat 20.
Very nice.
The whole thing floats and stays in one piece.
Got a nat 20 and I'm specialized.
And you get your points back.
Awesome.
What was your question, Acer?
No, I was joking. Has Indira gotten back to us? Maybe as part of that, the Red Fleet shows up with a submarine or two.
She gets back to you. The nearest Red Fleet ship is a day or two out. They can bring you your own ship, but she's not sure if you're still going to be by the whale by the time they get there.
No, we plan to be out of here by then. But we really could use that ship in the future for things like this. We're just really lucky that this all floats.
Well, I hope to see you back here soon.
Yes. I'm. You may need to brush up on your diplomacy skills. This might be a challenge.
I'm sure we can figure something out with him.
In my head, the way this works, Garrett, after kind of going around the city and everything, he noticed the side that's kind of filled with water and has kind of started to sink. But he kind of noticed that most of the buildings on it's kind of hard to think orientation because it would always change depending on the rotation of the well. But just for the sake of this, I'm going to say kind of the I'm going to say the southern facing sides of all the buildings that were built on the back of this whale.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have any windows or anything, so it's all solid.
Okay.
And so after tying some other ropes and stuff, Garrett will kind of give direction to Rigel and Rafaela to kind of gun it with the boats to pull the city so that it should fall on the side that doesn't have any of the windows or doors or point of entry, so that way it should be able to float without letting water in. And it actually falls in such a way so that once it gets pulled, the part that was kind of filling with water, it drains that part out a little bit, so it doesn't have that drag being underwater, so that it kind of, as long as we maintain a decent amount of speed, it just kind of, it's almost like skiing, but it's a building.
All
yeah,
right.
building skiing.
Yeah.
I've heard of it.
I am going to offer you a GM intrusion, Garrett.
Okay.
All right. So as the city just sort of slides cleanly off the whale and you're left standing on its back, just as you feel some bubbling under your feet and the whale explodes from sitting in the sun. So I'm going to move you one step down the
Okay.
track just
Yeah.
because you're covered in rotting whale
Yeah.
and everything's
Yeah.
real terrible.
I totally get it.
Raphael and I are crying.
Okay, so the stench from earlier made it impaired. So that makes
Or
me.
you were just hindered then.
Oh, okay.
Now you're
All right.
impaired.
Okay.
But so no one the rafts are like trying to leave before the other raft so that someone else has to take you back.
Over the mesh implant, I'll probably be like, in my head, it's more funny that I managed to be in a part where, like, they couldn't see, like maybe it popped and I was on something and like kind of I fell out of sight, so they thought maybe I fell in the water, but I actually kind of fell like in one of these cabins.
Uh-huh.
So like there's not even really a good way, because like I said, I am now like the southern part is kind of the floor and there's not really windows or anything to escape. So I'm like looking up at the door that I just fell through,
Okay.
kind of thing, or the window after the explosion, just covered in this stuff. And of course, some of this also has landed in this cabin with me.
Yeah.
And over the mesh implant, I'm just kind of like, I like to say I'm okay, guys. I'm not physically hurt, but I'm not sure without a ladder how to get out. Plus, to say that I need a shower or a bath is a huge understatement.
I look at Rigel.
Needless to say, I kind of got coated with whale viscera. So I may need to just ride back here.
This episode is so full of sentences I never thought I'd hear before.
This is my crowning achievement.
Just we'll string a rope, and you can grab onto it, and we'll just drag you through the ocean.
It will be refreshing for you.
Can't be worse, can it? Really?
Don't. Why did you? Why?
So yeah, I mean, if I need to, I can try to climb out. Or yeah, I'll just I could just as easily, assuming nothing crazy happens, right back in the building.
Yeah, you rolled 19 on the engineering of getting this thing off the whale and back home. So it's all going smoothly except for the exploding whale part.
Okay.
Who do you want to give that XP to?
I think I'm going to give it to Rigel just because of what he did earlier with contacting the Lost City to get us a boat and everything, and he may need that to, talk to our orate because of kind of undermining her.
In the future, we'll be able to use the boat to get to places faster, so no exploding whale. Yay.
Yay.
Otherwise, trip back uneventful?
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Have people with us too now.
Yes.
Well, on the trip back, I'd like to, I guess, kind of talk to them and try to get a little more of a feel for the community. Just a general vibe off of them. Why were they out there alone? How long have they lived out there? What kind of people are they?
How big of a jerk is Tessin?
He, give me some sort of sense motive roll or something like that.
Okay. Let's see. Is this for both of us?
Whoever wants to decide how big of jerk he is. I guess probably not Garrett since he's trapped in
I'm in the building.
Yeah.
Well, I rolled an 11 and I don't have any applicable skills.
Better than me, I got a 7.
He mostly just comes off as pompous to you, Rafaela, full of himself. It seems like he has been in charge of this community for a long time and no one's ever really challenged his authority. And he's a bit self-important. Not many people's families have started a whole city on the back of a whale. A traveling city with no jurisdiction holding them down.
Cities
Right.
are overplaying things.
Worked out well for you guys.
Yeah.
Whereas we built a town on a volcano. An active volcano made of glass.
So much better.
One is obviously more metal.
Which we have determined is what's important.
Really our goal, our only goal. What about the rest of them? Do they all seem pompous?
No, they seem they're mostly friendly. You talking to them, they seem to do a lot of trade up and down the coast of the Steadfast. They sometimes they do a lot of stuff with the Red Fleet as a place for them to get off their boat and walk around on another bigger boat thing. But they were happy with their floating life until, it died on them. And then it became a little more concerning.
Well, you are heading to someplace that is marginally better prepared to deal with the uh, with a Kestrel swarm, flock, whatever.
No,
And
you didn't.
Call him a cyclone of Kestrels.
Writing that down.
The good news is, because of that attack, our food stores are pretty full right now.
Just trying to think of something clever, and I'm like, I can't use murder. That's crows.
It's too on the nose.
It's like there's seabirds. What's crazy? Cyclone, that works. And you also have that great alliteration. So
All right. Anything else you want to try to find out from these people before you make it back to Hope?
do any of them have any useful skills?
Yeah, they are all have between the 60 of them, they kept their city going. So people are trained at like building, especially on uncertain foundations. There's a lot of skill in like cooking and harvesting food. Whatever they needed to sort of keep their community alive, they have.
All right, so we offload these people, put the those troublemakers on the boat, and send it away. I will relay all of that to Indira.
Thank you. We are trying to get somewhere up for them to stay. Additional 60 people is quite a lot.
Well, we have brought a lot of rafts back with us.
And then over the implant, you hear Garrett be like, "Don't forget the town."
And the whole town.
He went through a lot to get this town.
Yeah.
I would have thought that you would never want to hear about the town again.
No, Garrett's like, he went through a fairly traumatizing ordeal to get that thing back, in one piece. Granted, the one room that Garrett's in, at least, is probably going to have to be like heavily detailed before anybody would like live in it again, probably.
It's just going to go in the funeral raft pile.
Although I'm not even sure if I'm in like someone's house or like, am I in like their quote unquote tavern or a shop or?
You're in someone's house.
Okay.
Although now it feels like you're in the privy.
True.
Renaming it Garrett Town.
All right. So seeing Tessin and Indira meet is a sight to behold, as she's a little bit miffed with you, but trying to put on a friendly face, and he's a little bit miffed he had to be rescued, and trying to show her that you are lucky to be the ones who rescued them. Because they're obviously going to be a huge asset in Hope. Hope is not quite as inspiring name as Visay, I think, but I hope we will be able to at least recover here until we can find a new whale. A couple of people look like they are not interested in finding a new whale, but he's going to keep going on in that vein.
All right, so
okay. Can I
finding a new whale? High on our list of things to do.
After this exchange, I just kind of like it for a fact that Garrett manages to finally kind of crawl out of the building he's at. And while he does, kind of fall into the bay a little bit, he's still walking out fairly bloody and gross. And I like to think he's at least hearing the exchange either through Rigel or Rafaela's mesh implant while he's kind of walking back up. And then right at the exchange of like him saying, well, he thinks Visay is a better name and, get back on a whale, Garrett's just going to kind of come up behind him, arm over the shoulder. And of course it's like, sea whale viscera soaked kind of clothing, be like, Yeah, let me know how the next whale turns out for you. I don't think they're the most stable of
Uh,
things.
I imagine while he was
I'm gonna go
talking,
get a
there's just-
shower now, and then Garrett like just walks off after that to go clean up.
I imagine while he's giving his very pompous speech, you're just hearing squelching
Mhm.
as it gets closer.
as his doom approaches.
Yeah.
And then yeah, after that kind of humorous thing, at least in Garrett's mind, yeah, Garrett's gonna go get cleaned up, and he's probably gonna have to like burn some of those clothes and get some new ones.
Yeah, don't keep those.
How humane is this whole whale thing?
It sort of depends on how they treat the whale. The whale, for the most part of what you've heard about them, don't seem to notice that there's a town on their back.
Because we visited one of these before. Or not characters, the
Yeah,
players.
not us, but the players. Yeah.
There was that one that was hanging out over the middle of that cyclone
Mm-hmm.
near Harmouth.
When you say cyclone, do you mean big flock of birds?
No, I mean a giant storm.
Yeah. I just wonder if these guys were humane town settlers or if they were creeps.
Well, since at least the foundation of it was just tied on, and it wasn't like, you didn't have like pegs that went into the skin of the whale or anything like that. I mean, I don't think they were necessarily harming the animal per se.
Yeah, and it stuck on, or it stayed there for more than a generation. So I'm guessing if it was really upset, it would have just gone under.
Mhm.
Always a solution. Okay. Yeah, finding these guys a new whale, then I feel better about that, and we should probably do that. But you said that not everyone here looked interested in finding a new whale?
No, they do not.
Yeah, I just want to find a new whale so we can get rid of Tessin.
Well, I think we have our 11 replacements.
Yeah. Are we a rank 2 community yet?
Not quite yet. So right now there are 150 people in town. You do get 175 units of stuff from this city. I don't know. It's a whole city, though. The hell? Let's say 200 units.
They leave, they're gonna take
No, they're not.
Oh,
No, they're not. This is the price of getting rescued. I'm sure we'll help them find other resources elsewhere, but this is so an additional 50 people, and barracks hold 40 each. Is that right?
I have to look it up again.
This is our favorite part of this game.
they hold. Oh, I don't know. That's how much they cost.
Where was that?
What was that? Drop one pen cap.
But we definitely want a tavern, right?
That's definitely on the list.
I had the right book out already. It's like, why is there an actual equipment list?
Where? Okay. So we have 200 additional units.
Let's see. A barrack houses up to 20 people.
Oh, okay, so we need 3 of those. And then there'll be room for guests.
They cost 45 units.
Damn, that's a huge chunk of our investment.
Mhm.
Oh well.
Well, we technically do have at least a couple of the huts after the bird attack that were vacant.
But some of them got ruined as well.
That's true.
Actually, I'm going to subtract 15 of your units for repairs.
Okay.
So you have 185 units.
So I say we spend 135 on 3 new barracks. And that means we have 50 units left. Can we afford a tavern? I think it's 45 for a tavern, right?
I think that's right.
Tavern was 45.
Okay, so we spend what we have left on a tavern and then bows for our new residents.
Yep.
That is my proposal.
Good.
I am good with that proposal.
All right, a tavern costs 45.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Our town kind of looks like a military installation, but
Yeah, we need to get more people than units next time so we can build other stuff.
yeah.
Or not more. We need to get more units than people, I mean.
I
Yeah.
think we have 6 barracks now and 10 huts.
We have 5 barracks.
No, 5 barracks and
We still have 5 units. Oh wait, we're buying bows, right?
yeah, I would suggest bows.
All right. Each unit of bows costs 2. So we could buy 2 more and still have 1 unit left over.
For arrows.
No, arrows actually cost 2. So we could buy 1 bow, 1 arrow.
There we go.
There you go.
All
Yeah, I
right.
guess 1 bow, 1 arrow.
Because I only made flutes. Sorry.
Hey, those flutes are important.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You can't discount the effects on morale.
So we currently have 1 remaining unit.
You want to just bank that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just. All right. It's there. Cool. Our town is booming. Well, how do we find a new whale?
I am not sure on that front.
Let's put that off until tomorrow. Once more bird jerky.
I chew on a piece of bird jerky.
Same.
Sit in our tavern that has no booze in it.
No, it has booze because they had booze in their town.
Ah.
Perfect.
They
Okay.
now have every townsperson's money.
All right. So, what is the name of this tavern?
The busted whale.
Yeah, that totally. Yeah, yeah.
I love it.
They probably don't appreciate the joke.
They're still happy to drink in here.
The pungent
Yeah.
whale.
Who runs the busted whale? Is it a person who lived in town or someone from the whale itself?
I imagine it's the person that owned all the booze.
All right. What is their name and their deal?
Krail. And they were a trader that was buying a consignment of alcohol to take down the coast to Kai. So they have all of these barrels of various whiskeys and wines and beer.
And they collect salt and pepper shakers.
I love it.
So there's something decorative on all the tables.
Yes.
What is your favorite set that they have, Acer or Rigel?
They have a set that are from or two game pieces from a common strategy game. It is a game that involves moving pieces around on a board that has squares of alternating color.
Ah.
It's a Seski and a Brem and a tower.
Ah, wow. Of course Rigel likes that set.
Of course.
What are the set at Raphael's favorite table?
I think there's a set that is like a pond, and there's a rock that's one of the shakers, like they're magnetically attached. So one of them's a rock, and the other one is like a big lizard. So you have to like pick them up out of the pond to use them.
Perfect.
Very interactive.
It's important when you want that salt.
Gotta really feel involved.
Okay, how about Garrett's?
Oh. Man, I'm trying to think. I think Garrett's favorite set that they have is, if you look at them both, they look pretty unassuming, like almost like ball bearings that are solid. And so it's kind of like a mystery on how in the hell you'd actually even filling them, but it's kind of like a trick with the way you rotate them. Like you rotate them one way, it makes like the little tiny holes to dispense like the salt or the pepper or whatever spice you decide to fill the inside with. And if you rotate them a different way, kind of the scent sphere opens up a bigger door, that way you could fill it. But for the most part, they just look like these kind of big synth spheres that are completely smooth. And if you didn't know that that's what their purpose was, you might just think they were some pretty big ball bearings.
Nice. All right.
Oh, at some point, for reasons no one can discern, later on, a set of salt and pepper shakers appear that is a woman that is half octopus and a shark man.
Nice.
Love it.
That is Andira's favorite set.
Somebody from the Lost City comes by.
It's our OTP.
Yeah.
It's a popular export.
Let's see. That was most of what I had planned for you guys to do, and we're close to an hour, so I will just end it there with you in your newly expanded city with some quote-unquote new friends. We'll see how everyone gets along.
It'll go great, I'm sure.
It'll be a real like Brady Bunch situation next week.
It'll be awesome. Or Tessin will mysteriously drown.
I guess we should have a sit down with Andira and Rigel.
Mhm.
Okay.
Or you're called to the mayor's office.
You're in trouble.
The
Somebody
mayor's
else
office.
says over the implant. Like gets you when someone gets called to the office. Ah.
Yeah.
The mayor's office, otherwise known as Indira's hut.
Wait, she can't have her own hut. We don't have enough units for that.
She lives in the town hall.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the town hall, the synth dome thing.
Yeah.
What can I do for you?
I just want to remind you that while you may feel that you do most of the work here on the island, I am in charge of the clade here.
Yes, ma'am. You're in charge of the community, and we were just expediting arrangements to carry out the mission.
It's just when you're reaching out to other communities on behalf of Hope and making demands for things like ships, it's better if it comes from me, who can negotiate for the best things for the community.
I understand completely. It's just that I'm used to operating with the other knots.
I'm glad we understand each other, and I'm very pleased to see that you have signed up for night patrol for the next week.
Oh, no problem.
All right.
Really
Sure.
good getting sleep up in that tower.
All
Pull
right.
the ladder up behind you, and nobody bothers you.
She will send you away, pleased that she has punished you, at least in her mind, I suppose. And that is where we'll end it. Everyone can get another XP. And thank you so much for joining us again on the Amber Clave. I am Megan. I've been your GM. You can find me on Twitter at Kyrium247. You can find the podcast at Amber Clave, or you can find us on the website at theamberclave.com. Joining me today, I've had Landon.
Hey. Yep, and I've been playing Garrett, the tough, meddlesome delve who explores yesterday. You can find me on Twitter at solemn_Lyrian.
Acer.
Hi, I've been playing Rigel Sloan, who is carefully trying not to snore while he's on the top of the tower, because everyone will hear you. He is a graceful, stealthy glaive who fights with a horde. You can find me on Twitter at Acer_Tolentino.
And Shauna.
I've been playing Raphael Estelle, a nurturing, imaginative nano who murders. And you can find me on Twitter at CallMeShauna.
Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you again next time. Until then, yay to see.
Yay to see.
A to C.
All right. Thank you, everyone who joined us on the stream. We will be back in 2 weeks, hopefully, and see you then. Bye.
Goodbye.
Later.
Bye.